Hey, I'm here in the spring break capital of the world, Brooklyn, New York, to visit Voodoo Manufacturing. We're going to talk about what they do, we're going to see how they do it, and then at the end I'm going to show you something that's going to completely blow your mind. I'm Joel, and this is 3D Printing Nerd. Voodoo Manufacturing is a Brooklyn startup with a high-volume 3D printing factory. They have more than 160 3D printers to manufacture everything from prototypes to large production runs for their customers. Hey, John.
What's up, Joel?
How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Great. What the heck is going on back here?
So this is the Voodoo Manufacturing factory. Today we have over 160 3D printers that we use to make parts for our customers.
That's insane. How do you manage 160 3D printers?
With magic. No, there's actually a lot of software, a lot of process that actually goes into being able to run this many machines and produce as many parts as we do.
Oh, can we take a look at the process?
Yeah, so I'll walk you around and I'll show you what it's like to actually fulfill an order.
Great, let's go.
Cool. So we're about to go and actually harvest a printer.
Okay.
That's what we call it. But up until this point, we had an order that came in, was placed by a customer. We went and actually looked at those files to make sure that they're manufacturable. We then prepared the order, so things that anyone with a 3D printer has done, where you orient the file in the best possible way, you choose your slicing settings, and then you actually slice your G-code. After that, we assigned the job to this printer, ran the print, and now we have a finished print. And so this is when the printer is ready to be harvested, is what we call it.
Looks great. Looks like it's ready to go.
It did. So at this point, what you'll do is you'll actually remove the build plate from the printer.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and do that. Perfect. And then what you would do is just kind of give it a quick check to make sure that you think it came out good as opposed to looking like spaghetti.
Well, this looks good. It looks like the raft helped. Looks like the support material's good, and the rest of the print is fantastic. So this looks like a good print.
Awesome. So what you would do next is you would actually harvest this as good so that in real time we can keep track of the quantities in this order and we don't overproduce.
Oh, okay.
So you'll go in on this tablet and you'll click the harvest button on that printer. There you go. And then go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
Okay, so this printer is now ready to be used again.
Exactly. And so from here, we'll take this over to what we call our score stations, where you're actually going to remove it from the plate, clean off any support or rafts, and just give it one last quality check.
Let's go.
Perfect. Okay, Joel, so come take a seat at our score station.
This is handy.
Yeah, so this is where after parts have been printed, we take them to remove them from the build plate, to clean them, and then to inspect them before we get ready for packing and shipping.
Okay.
So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna throw on that glove, because safety is always first here at Voodoo.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Safety first.
And so next you're actually gonna scan that plate into our computer.
Scan,
So you can
okay.
go ahead and scan, there's an RFID tag on the bottom.
So each build plate has an RFID tag.
Each build plate has an RFID tag, and it lets us uniquely identify the exact job that was printed.
That's so cool.
So you'll hear a little beep once you scan that. Just move it around a little bit, there you
There we go. Loading file.
And so now on the screen, you should be able to actually see the exact part that you're looking at in real life.
Can I use the mouse to rotate
You can.
around?
Yep, so it's a normal 3D model viewer. So here you can kind of just verify that the right thing was printed.
Oh.
So kind of looks the same, right?
It looks exactly the same.
Good, just how it should be. And so next, you're actually gonna go and remove this from the build plate and then clean the supports and rafts off, something you've probably done 1,000 times.
I've done that once or twice.
Yeah, so go ahead and grab
Let's
the spatula,
see. We'll get that right
kind of standard tool.
there. Ooh, look at that curve.
And so now you can just kind of go at it. Perfect.
Just like that, popped right off.
Just like that. And so usually we use pliers to actually remove the supports and rafts. Yeah, it came off easy.
The support and the raft are coming off super easy.
You're welcome to use other tools.
I was
too,
just
if
gonna
you
say, I think my fingers are gonna work just fine.
want. Yeah.
I'm sure there are instances where the supports are stabby, but this
But this is an easy one.
This
Yeah,
is a
you never
super
know.
easy one. And it looks like there is a piece still on here that I need to remove too.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget that.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Look at that.
Look at that. I've
So
got
how do they
these.
look? So at this point, you would just give them one last inspection
Okay.
to make sure that they are high enough quality to send to our customer.
Looks good. It looks like the support's removed incredibly well. It looks like there's no warping in the pieces. Looks like this extra piece printed fantastic. This looks like something I would send out. So
Love it.
I hope it's up to your quality standards.
Good. So what you do next is you would go and on the screen, click each of those pieces and mark them as good. And so this lets us in real time update the part counts in the order so that we know how many we've produced.
Oh, so because there was more than one piece on the build plate, each piece gets its own thumbs up or thumbs down.
Exactly. And so let's say one of these did come out poorly and you had to fail it, then that part count wouldn't get updated and we would know that we would have to print it out again.
Okay, so now it says
Score plate, so go ahead and click it.
And I can hit complete.
Hit complete. Perfect.
And that's
so
it.
Now you're good to go, and that's it.
Wow.
And so from here, what we'll do is we'll take those parts, we would store them in a bin with other parts from this order until everything is complete, and then we go to packing and shipping.
Okay, before we do that though, it looks like I've got some waste. What do I do with this?
Yes, so actually right there, we've got a blue recycling bin. And you'll be happy to know that we get all of our filament, all of our scrap filament recycled and re-extruded back into new filament.
Oh, that's great. Oh, there we go, we'll get that off.
Perfect, and then that plate, because the tape looks pretty good, you can go ahead and throw it in this bin that says good tape so that we can just go ahead and use it again.
Okay. There we go. And now we take this over and
put it in a bin with the other parts.
Let's do that.
Cool. So now that you've scored those parts, we're going to put them in a bin. So here's the order, you can throw them in here.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, you can take that glove off now.
Thanks.
That's for you. Thank you. So the next step from here is packing and shipping. And so you can see over here that we have a lot of different sizes of boxes that we use. Sometimes we'll send out small orders, maybe just a few units. Other times we'll send out hundreds.
Wow. Well, what kind of stuff have you sent out? I mean, you have the boxes of every shape and size. You must hold some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'll go show you.
All right. You got some impressive stuff here, John. Show me. What do you got?
Well, thank you.
Here?
So we do a lot of different types of orders for a lot of different types of customers. We do a lot in marketing and advertising where we help people make really unique branded swag or products.
Okay.
So this is actually a great example. This is a project we did for Gillette, the razor company.
This is incredible what you've got right here.
And so these are DC Justice League superhero razor blades. So we've got Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. And this was a project we did with them for the release of the Justice League, and they sent these to their top fans.
Their top fans. Okay, so this wasn't
only the top.
This wasn't something that someone could buy. This was them sending it to people they knew would appreciate it the most.
Yes. However, I think I've actually seen these floating around on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if anyone's inclined, so that's a great example of kind of marketing and advertising. On the opposite side, we've done a lot of hardware where we've worked with startups to help them actually scale and produce components that go into their products.
Oh, okay.
So this is a great example for a company called Squats and Science. This is actually a barbell velocity tracker that tracks how quickly you're raising your weights. And so we make a lot of the internal components for this.
So rather than creating a mold and injection molding the parts, that would be expensive, whereas they can utilize your services to actually create the prototypes and
Exactly.
And the eventual pieces to maybe even sell?
Exactly. So when they started working with us, they were just prototyping using our online direct print service. And so they made, a few different iterations as they were figuring out how to get it to work exactly right. But once they figured that out, they were able to still work with us to scale up and do their first production run of about 3,000 units. And if they were using injection molding, they would have had to lay down at least $5,000 to make that mold.
Oh, and if they had that change the mold, even tweak it, they'd have to make a new one.
You're done.
Whereas this allows them to save time and money.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
So that's a great example of hardware. And then, the other really cool thing that we can do is mass customization. Mm-hmm. And so here we have a project that we did for the American Heart Association to actually make the top tier prize for their annual fundraiser.
Oh, these are fantastic.
So
and
kids go out.
It is the American Heart Association.
Exactly.
Great.
So kids go out, they raise money. After they raise $1,000, they get to design their own custom monster. And the cool thing is there are over 40 million possible monsters that can be made.
Oh, so this wasn't the American Heart Association making monsters to give out. These were the top donation earners picking their own monster parts.
Exactly, deciding, do you want a bow or a hat or maybe a mohawk? Do you want a white face or a pink face? 40 million combinations.
This is great. That is a wonderful, wonderful use of 3D printing.
Yeah, so just some representative projects that we've done.
Well, that's okay. Well, these are the projects that you've sent out. What do you have working on in your R&D lab?
Why do I want to show you?
What in the freaking crap? This is awesome.
This is the coolest toy I've ever gotten to play with. It is a collaborative robotic arm.
I want a robot arm.
Yeah, they're fun, and we're using it to actually harvest these 3D printers.
Okay, so what are you calling this?
So Project Skywalker.
I love it.
It stands for not just the arm, but the idea of using the arm with a cluster of printers and with some peripheral hardware to just run these machines 24/7.
So then the robot arm itself is part of an automation process. So you have the software that manages the printers, and the robot would then manage the removal and the replacement of the build plates.
Exactly. So the way the system works is we have printers that are connected to our software. When a print finishes, it would actually signal the arm and say, hey, printer number 5 is done, go over and harvest it.
Okay.
And so then the arm would approach printer number 5, it would grab a build plate, it would set that build plate down, it would grab a new plate, put it back on printer 5, and then we would get a signal back from the arm that says, hey, printer 5 is good to go, and we start the next print.
And then it looks like then the printer just puts the build plates over there, and the idea would be the person at the station would then take the build plate and do what we did earlier.
Exactly. And so the next step would be to move all of these plates over to the score station and put them through that same process. Now, this is a collaborative robotic arm, and so it's actually very different from probably most robots that you think of when you think of manufacturing.
Okay.
You kind of think of these big, expensive, really powerful arms in car factories.
Right.
This is very different.
How so?
So this is more of a software-driven arm. It's a lot more affordable. And it's a lot easier to work with. And so we were able to actually pull this system together very quickly. And now we've actually moved beyond this, and we're working some other cool parts of it that are going to help us move this into our factory.
Do you have a timetable for that?
We do. We're hoping to have this driving around our factory in the next year.
Wait, driving around your factory?
Driving around the factory.
So the robot arm would not only be responsible for removing, it wouldn't be just static in front of a bunch of machines. It would actually have mobility?
It would have mobility, and it would be responsible for getting me coffee. Not quite, but we think that we can use one arm to harvest approximately 100 printers.
How many printers are in the farm?
Today we have 164 in the factory.
So you could harvest more than half of your farm via a robotic arm.
Exactly.
Wow.
And again, the whole value of this is today, we don't run a 24/7 shift in the factory. And so, a lot of the time when a print finishes, that printer sits there for the rest of the night until our team comes in the next morning. But if we had a robot in the factory harvesting machines, we could keep those printers up and running 24/7.
So then what happens in the case of a print failure? If something isn't sticking or a print is warping or coming up, something where, a situation where you would need to stop the printer, what would happen in the robotics scenario?
So at least at first, we would just let that print continue on, and the robot would still be able to harvest it, but obviously you might have a bad print on the plate.
Okay.
In the future, we are starting to look at systems that we'd actually be able to use to detect when prints are failing.
Ah, this is another rung in the ladder of automation.
We as a company are trying to not just build like a 3D printing prototyping service, but really make 3D printing a viable technology for mass production. And the only way we're going to do that is if we can drive costs down, and the only way we're going to do that is with automation.
And with a robot.
And with a robot. With a damn cool robot.
That is so cool. John, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you,
little
Joel. Yeah.
background tour. I'm excited. I'm going to go ask my wife if I can buy a robot arm.
They have
now.
a small one.
Do they?
They have a mini one that you can put on your desk.
You're making this hard. All right. John, that was awesome, man. Thank you so much. Let's see. We got to see what you do.
Yep.
We got to see how you do it. We got to see what you send out. And we got to see some of this really cool stuff you're working on back in R&D. If someone wanted to take advantage of Voodoo Manufacturing, how would they go about and do that?
So the first thing you should do is head over to our website, voodoo-mfg.com, and you can place an order with us. And we're also really excited to offer all of your subscribers 25% off their first order if they use the promo code 3D Printing Nerd, all one word, all lowercase.
Okay, so all one word, 3D Printing Nerd, all one word.
Yep.
All lowercase.
Perfect.
And it's voodoo-mfg.com.
That's it.
And that code will get you 25% off your first order.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thanks.
Thank you.
Let's end
High
it.
five.
There we go. My work day at Voodoo is now over. We got to see what they did and how they did it. We got to see what they shipped out, and we got to see a freaking incredible robot arm. A big thanks for everybody that stuck around to the end to see me. Thank you. If you want to support the channel and what I do, there are all sorts of links down in the description you can tickle. Beyond all that, don't forget to hug each other more, because I love you guys. As always, high five. Robot, may I have a high five? I need a robot. I need a robot. That's just all there is to it. I need a robot.